The layout baseboard is now somewhere I can actually work on it, and last time I built a mock-up of where the track's going to go, so it's time to start work on buildings. The plan is to design and print at least half the buildings for this layout to give it a bit of variety and to keep the prices down. So let's have a quick look at how I design one of the buildings. This is a building that I spotted whilst I was in Tokyo and it really appealed to me. So I'm making a version of that. I'm making a motorbike garage, not specifically this one, but with a very similar frontage. That photo is just one reference, of course. But luckily, we have Street View and Google Maps. And Street View lets you go and take a look at the building from different angles. You can't just scroll past. You jump forward several meters and backwards several meters each time you move the arrow, but it gives you different angles on the building and you can zoom in and pick up details. I can pop along and go down the street that runs behind the building and get a look at the back, which provides a lot of really useful reference on that as well. The other cool thing about this is you can go back in time and track this one back to before it was garage attractive, back to when it was a Honda dealership. So you can see how things changed over the time and how the painting, how the colours have changed, and how next door used to be a pet grooming shop. And if you go back far enough, it had something very interesting above the front door. Going back into the overhead view and satellite view, I can use the measurement tool to get the rough dimensions that I'll be working from to build this. Now, on the original, you'll notice that because the two streets are at an angle, the front face is not parallel to the back face. I'm going to build it square. So I'm just taking the shortest length and then working from that. And then it's a case of opening Blender, putting that initial size block in, and then cutting bits out and adding bits. It really is that simple. I don't use any procedural stuff yet. I've not learned how to do any really fancy procedural stuff yet. I use arrays and booleans mostly. Because this is now my fourth building I've designed, I have a few pieces that I can bring in from other previous builds, such as the doors and the aircon units. Satellite view doesn't give you a great shot of what the roof looks like, but I presume that it slopes from one side to the other, and given which side the drain pipes are coming down, I figured that was the side that was the lowest for the roof. And then it's just a case of detailing and fettling and working on it until I have version 1 and sticking it on the printer. Short print later, and here's the first version of the model. As you can see, the lower section of the doors, front and back, is weirdly warped. I don't know whether it's just my printer or 3D printers in general, but it does not like doing thin spans. It tends to put too much material in there or something, I don't know. And on the Z gauge version, I broke the one on the front. So that gives me an excuse to detail the inside a bit more. Having built a very simple scooter, I put a few of those on the inside, in the front and the back, extended the floor, put some spare wheels and boxes and other bits and pieces in there to brace the bottom, and went back and tried again. And this print works. Everything currently on the layout is still in grey resin, so this one deserved to be painted. The printing process itself has put a lot of this texture on the sides. Primer fills a little bit of it, and then just go in and colour the sections as seemed appropriate. Paint the windows, paint the inside, and once I had everything in the basic colours, just a little bit of weathering, just a little wash of rust on the roof and down the downpipes. When the layout is being put together properly, I may go in with some weathering powders or some such to make a little bit of uniform weathering across the whole thing. And there you have it. I've built a few of these now, so it's getting a little bit easier each time. The tricky part is not getting completely lost wandering around Street View, seeing all the cool buildings I could build, and actually settling on one. So I'm off to have a look around again. I think the next building that I'm going to make is going to be a small house, and then we'll see where we go from there. The motorbike garage is available in Z gauge and N gauge. To go with it, I've created some motorbikes. The initial scooter that I built to put on the inside, I've now made it available as a print alongside a more sporty road and street bike. If you have a 3D printer and you too are making a Z or N gauge railway layout, you can sign up to the N and Z gauge STL subscription, where you will get, whilst you are a member, you will get every new design as it comes available, which is at least 2 a month, quite often more as I get into the role of this. If you have your own shop and you do 3D printing for it and you'd like to make some of these buildings and sell them, I also have a merchant license, which will give you access to all of the existing designs and all of the newer designs, and obviously a license to sell it for as long as you are subscribed. So please check those out. The more people who can sign up for those, the more time I can dedicate to designing new products. That's it for now. I'm going to build more fun properties for my layout, and thank you for watching and have fun modelling.